Yeah, So's was out. So it got swapped before he got killed. Somebody... Shoko got swapped with Renju. And then Renju got swapped with Iris. And then Iris got swapped with So. And then So got swapped with Boss. So who was in Shoko?
Yes, you. The person in front of me right now.
You're blaming the commander of Abyss for this?
No, not Boss.
Not Boss.
The person inside Boss's head.
Yeah.
Can you at least try to make sense?
Alright, I'll explain. You know about the abandoned chemical
Somebody
plant in
was
Kawasaki?
in Shoko first. Whoever was in Shoko when Renju killed her. Or no, whoever was in Shoko first and then in Renju.
There's a prototype sync machine there.
Mm-hmm.
You use that device to swap around bodies one by one.
In other words, the entire egg ends up being replaced. Mind, consciousness, memory, they are traded.
I don't know where it started. But at some point, you got into Shoko's brain.
Mm-hmm.
Then, you got into Renju's.
But what got them to go to the sync machine?
And got rid of Shoko's body.
Because she had Renju's brain. So Shoko's been out for a while. How long has Shoko been somebody else? Is that why she was a bitch?
After Renju was Iris.
And
You
that's
strangled
when,
Renju using Iris.
that's when Renju asked her to come with them, and they went somewhere, and she forgot where it was. Because then she was Renju, or the person that was in Renju's head. God damn!
After that, into So.
And you looked like Monica, so you lured him into the place or something. And went into his head.
Who you used to kill Iris and Ota at the cult storage warehouse.
And then when Boss went missing, it was because you swapped with Boss. And that's Boss, the one inside of... So now Boss is dead because she was swapped with Renju. Or not Renju, but So. God damn, so many freaking swaps.
Now, you're in Boss's body. Inside her head.
Because Boss is dead.
I see. If you know that much, then I have nothing left to hide. Yes, I am the culprit behind the new Cyclops serial killings. I guess you can call me the new Cyclops killer.
Who was inside Iris during the interrogation Sunday? I bet it was her. Or them.
That was me.
Uh-huh.
You imitate her well. From the way you talked and your body language, it was like the real Iris. Earlier, too, you almost had me fooled. Your imitation of Boss was perfect.
Yes, there's a reason for that.
You get into their head, you get a little bit of their personality.
Let me define some terms first. A person's memory and sense of self. Let's call that personality. It isn't quite the right word, but it'll suffice. Now, transferring that personality into someone else's brain, let's call that parasitism. The one transferring is the parasite. The one being transferred into is the host. Are you with me so far? Moving on. Even after the personality exchange is complete, the host's memory isn't completely lost. About 1% remains in the brain. So, a parasite could use that 1% to imitate the language and behavior of the host. That's how I knew about the warehouse and Sunfish Pocket, by the way.
And that's why you wouldn't tell me your name, because you didn't even.
Thanks to Renju and Iris's remaining memories.
Who the hell are you?
Saito Sajima.
Number
Congressman
89?
Sajima's son.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
What?
The first killer. So you're the first and the second.
I researched Saito thoroughly, but I cannot find any images of him on the internet. He is listed on the family register, but I cannot find any photographs.
Give me the details.
Before I
Which
do,
one?
there's something I want to hear from you. How did you know about the prototype sync machine? And not only that, you also seem to know what the sync machine is truly capable of. Why is that?
Computer told me.
That's...
Regaining your memories, are you? Human memory is fractal. If you retain even a single piece of it, it's possible to recreate the whole thing. Pieces of memories are like roots that grow into every corner of the brain, gradually, slowly, taking its time. I imagine the same thing is happening in your brain right now.
Wait. Supposedly, Date was the last victim of the Cyclops killer before he stopped killing. And he survived. He didn't end up dying. So, instead of being killed by the next person that inhabited another body, he got scot free with that 1% left of his brain. Or his memories, anyway. And that's why he has all those weird flashbacks that aren't his, but they're actually his. Because the person that he swapped out with was the what was the little bit of memory that was left. So Saito was in Date's body and committed the previous murder before him. And then when he went to swap out to somebody else's body, he was supposed to be killed. But something happened and made him not die, or not be killed. He survived. So he was like slowly getting his memory back. Who did Saito go to after Date? Yeah, that's the question. And what happened that saved Date? Right.
A fractal is a figure with self-similarity. Allow me to explain. See this? Whichever fragment you cut, you will see a similar shape. The whole is made up of its similar parts. This is called a fractal figure. Memories in the brain are similar. That is what he is explaining. He is claiming that from a few pieces, you can rebuild the memory.
If you have the right triggers. I knew about the prototype from regaining my memory. Is that right? That's why you're missing an eye. No, that's not it.
Parallel worlds exist.
I'm telling you, it was me. Why are you making me repeat myself?
That means the Somnium I entered on Sunday.
Was Saito's.
That's right. It was me.
That's why it was that weird kissing thing with So's head. So you killed his mistress. How does he know about the original Cyclops killer? 'Cause he is! It's the same person. And something else was troubling me. Yep. He killed using Date's body.
What's going on here?
Fine. I still have time.
Of course you do.
Time?
You'll see. So, where do you want me to start?
Just past midnight on Tuesday. Shoko was killed on Friday. If we think of that as day 1, today is day 5. What was Saito doing those days? I decided to ask him.
Like you guessed, my personality was in Shoko, Renju's ex-wife. That made calling Renju easy. I need to talk to you about something. He came over without question. I think it was around 4 p.m.? I had him meet me at the chemical plant. I made Renju go to sleep. Synced, switched personalities, and then stabbed Shoko's discarded body with an ice pick. I took Shoko to Bloom Park by car, using the old abandoned subway line. Must have been around 8 p.m. by the time I was finished. I tied up Shoko to one of the merry-go-round horses.
I'm not the son. Whoever's in the person inside Boss's head right now is Saito. So's son.
After that, I used Renju's phone to send a Nile message to Mizuki.
Mizuki, Daddy got caught up in something serious.
Then, I just waited for Mizuki to arrive. Until next Saturday evening, my personality was inside Renju. My next target was Iris.
And that's when you started ignoring everybody.
I knew she would be suspicious if I asked her to come to Kawasaki, so I asked her to come to Sunfish Pocket first. I called her a little before 5 p.m., and she arrived just after 6. I greeted her, then convinced her to come with me. That's when Ota saw us. Anyway, I put her in the car, then headed to the chemical plant. On the way, I made her take a sleeping pill. I knew she might run once she saw where we were going. It was around 7 p.m. when I got there, and I wasted no time switching bodies. After getting Iris's body, I used a rolled-up apron to strangle Renju to death. Then I put his body in an empty oil drum I'd prepared earlier. I put that in the trunk of the car, then headed to Sunfish Pocket. But then, something I didn't anticipate happened. Waiting for the signal in Akiba, someone knocked on the window of the car. It was Ota. He asked me something about being able to drive. He was surprised, to say the least. I didn't have time to waste on him. But I couldn't risk him finding the oil drum in the trunk. Plus, if word got around that Renji's car was spotted driving around Akiba, that would foil my plans. So, I came up with a lie. I told him that I didn't have a license, so he had to keep it a secret. That's what that thing referred to in Ota's Nile messages, by the way.
So that's what it really was.
And just like that, I managed to escape a bad situation and headed to Sunfish Pocket as planned. The rest went exactly as you already figured out. Sunday morning, I had a recording or some such thing scheduled. Oh, I am of course referring to Iris. I didn't want to draw suspicion, so I decided to attend as planned. I went to Lemniscate and performed my job. And when I left, I ran into you, Date. To be honest, I was a little surprised. Just the previous night, I was a parasite in the body of Renju. I didn't think Ota had seen me. So, of course, I didn't expect to see you there so soon. You were onto me, but there was nothing I could do about that. If I ran, it would only increase your suspicion. So I decided to play my role. The interrogation began around 8:20 p.m., is that right? Then
That's
you
why it didn't
synced
make
into
any
my
sense.
mind. But you didn't get what you were looking for, did you? As a result, you had no choice but to release me. I didn't want to go home right away. I knew there might be police waiting for me. That would make it difficult to sneak out at night. And that would put my plan in jeopardy. So I asked you to take me to Marble. I tried to find an opportunity to run, but then another unexpected event occurred. I got a Nile message from Ota. I knew I could use him. So I told him I needed his help and to meet me at Marble. He did as I instructed him to do. After that, I got into the van with Ota. But because his presence was unnecessary, I asked him to stop at a convenience store to buy me something to drink. When he was gone, I took his car and drove to my parents' house where I used to live. Yes, the Sajima residence. Of course, I knew I couldn't just walk up and ring the doorbell. Hello, Father, it's been a long time. I was also in Iris's body at the time. But I thought I could use that to my advantage. So I pushed on the intercom and sure enough, my dad invited me inside. I told him this. I want you to come with me. There's something I need to show you. He was quiet for a while, but eventually agreed and got into the van with me. We arrived at the prototype sync machine around 11:50 p.m. By the time I was in the body of Sosajima, it was a new day. This was yesterday, early Monday morning, past midnight. In my new body, I drugged Iris, put her in the van, and drove to a new location. Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse. I arrived around 1, then prepared for the show for a couple hours. Of course, when I say show, I mean dismembering Iris. Because of the temperature in the warehouse, it took longer than I expected to prepare, but... well, you saw it in the video. Of course, I didn't anticipate Ota would show up. What does that make it? 3 times that brat has showed up unexpectedly? That annoyed me to no end, and I took that out on him. Dressing him up in the polar bear was an impromptu plan on my part. I didn't mean to make you think he was the killer. I just wanted to throw a wrench into the investigation. Didn't matter if you found out or not. This all happened Monday morning.
That's why he wasn't missing an eye.
3:30 a.m.
Because he didn't swap with him.
There isn't much to talk about on Monday. Before noon, I used my old man's body to call this one Boss. You might not know this, but she and my father go back about 6 years. The two shared a terrible secret. Hinting at that was enough to get the boss to come running to me immediately. I injected her with a sedative, then brought her body to the chemical plant. I synced with her, exchanged our bodies, and after blowing my father's brains out, I cut his body into pieces.
Okay, so he's not the first Cyclops killer because he was a kid. And the sync machine wasn't created back then. It wasn't even a thing. So the fact that the eye is pulled out is coincidental because the old machine, the prototype, requires the eye to be missing from the host. And so the eye missing just made everybody think of the Cyclops killer. So they're not related.
I stuffed the meat into a vase I'd brought earlier, then
Gross.
drove back to my house.
Because at first it was the old Kumakura dude that would take out the eye while the killer would kill. But then the Kumakura dude committed suicide, so there was no need to take out the eye. But people didn't know that the Cyclops killer was technically 2 people. One would take out the eye and one would kill. Saito spoke with grace and no sign of remorse. I was trying to keep my anger from boiling over and kept asking him questions. Or maybe he was the original Cyclops killer. He's just older than we think he is. So, Saito Sajima is older than we think he is. And because he was 12 when he killed Hitomi's friend, Monica. And that was the beginning of the Kumakura dude's removal of the eye. So Sajima would, or Saito would keep killing while the Kumakura guy kept taking the eyes. And then yeah. So when the sync machine was created, and so Saito moved on all of his victims were female up until Date. So Date is the original. Date is Saito, but also not Saito. Because they became separate people from the memory loss. Most of Saito got carried on to the next person, but the little bit left over basically created a whole nother person, but in the body. That's why when So had the gun pointed and shot you in the eye, he goes, killed by your own father. That's why he said that. Because he thought Date was still his son. So Date was the original. And then when he swapped out to, I don't know, he swapped out to somebody. Maybe he swapped straight from Date to Renju's wife, Shoko. Yeah. So knew about Date being Saito. And So was covering everything up for Saito. Right. But why would but why wouldn't So tell Date? Maybe he was just still on his son's side. Need to know who was in between Date and the girl. Right. Why did you take out your victim's eyes? I know
You
it's
know
not him.
all about the prototype sync machine, don't you?
Yeah,
That should explain it.
because you had to. I knew. The prototype sync machine differed from the one in Abyss in a few key ways. The machine at Abyss is more sophisticated. Nano cables from the sync gear enter through the gap between the eyeball and the socket. Then they travel down the optic nerve and canal into the brain. But the prototype sync machine isn't so advanced. To perform a sync, you need to remove the left eye manually. The subject and the syncer have to remove their eye from the socket. Otherwise, the cables cannot enter the brain. Of course, even with the eye removed, severing the connection to the brain isn't necessary. The extracted eyeball still has the optic nerve and blood vessels connected. After a sync, the eye is supposed to be replaced back to the socket. It's supposed to be safe. Side effects are rare. Unless the nerve or blood vessels are damaged somehow, replacing the eyeball isn't too difficult. Why did you display the bodies the way you did?
To harass you.
To harass me.
I wanted to bring out the hatred in you.
Because you want to cite
That's why I called Mizuki to Bloom
Saitos.
Park. That's why I streamed Iris's murder. Because they were important to you, weren't they?
But Iris wasn't even important to me until you started doing shit. I didn't even know who Iris was.
I wanted you to feel cornered, trapped.
You gave me somebody important and
I
then
wanted
took
to
it away.
punish you, Kaname Date.
Punish me. Yeah, why would he snitch on his own kid? Saito's issue with Date. Probably just mad because he got away before he was able to kill him. I don't know. Why didn't the sync victims resist after waking? The sedatives.
Ah, the prototype sync machine has a special feature. It administers a strong dose of sedatives to the original body, and a stimulant to the host after a sync. That kept them docile. Of
Why
course,
am I
I don't really
asking this
care
guy?
about eyes. I don't need them. All I cared about was exchanging bodies with the sync.
So you didn't bother taking it out nicely because you were gonna kill him anyway.
And for that, I needed to remove the left eye.
Why didn't you just put the eyes back when you were done?
That's obvious. Once I was finished transferring into a new body, the old one was of no concern to me.
Yeah.
Why would I bother replacing the eye? I was just going to get rid of it anyway.
Where are the eyeballs that you removed? Made him eat it.
Shoko's is in Renju. Renju's is in Iris.
Yep.
Iris's is in Dad.
Dad.
Dad's is in Boss.
So you ate the eyeball.
Their stomachs.
Every
I mean.
time you did, you just straight up ate their eye. You're like, gulp.
You sick bastard.
Yeah. Ew. And he's just like, oh, well, I don't got anything to do with this eye. I'm just gonna eat it.
Yes, I ate them.
What a freaking weirdo.
Immediately after exchanging personalities.
How horrible.
Nom nom. What's your motive?
Homicide is my hobby. I have a tenacity for it. What can I say? Of course, it was also necessary to make sure people kept their mouths shut. If I took over someone's body, they would know about my crimes.
I have a theory. Maybe number 89 is the old Kumakura's boss. Maybe he's gonna help boss get out because he said he still has time. I don't know. I'm confused.
I couldn't risk them reporting me, so I killed them.
Or maybe he's gonna help. Well, Pewter, in this timeline, Pewter sent him back to jail. I don't know. I just keep so much shit.
It was also a matter of revenge. Against you.
Revenge.
It's personal. That's why I chose people close to you as targets.
Half of those people that were close to me were only close to me because you. So you gave me more people to be close to me so you can make me more sad. God. Like, you don't have enough people. Did Saito... I just want to know, how did Saito survive from Date? And how did Date survive? Right.
Well, except for my father, of course. That was personal to me. But don't ask. It's embarrassing. This series of murders was like a journey for me, you know? Traveling through bodies to finally reach the end. That's the thing about traveling. You always wind up in the same place, don't you?
You want to come back to my body?
Where do you think that is?
Back into me.
Your home. A trip is only complete once you return home.
Mm-hmm.
The same goes for me. When I return home, my travels will come to an end. So I'll be needing it back. My body.
What?
You stole my body. You took it from me 6 years ago. That's why I want revenge.
What are you talking about?
You have no idea what it was like inside my own head. I miss it. I miss my brain, Date. No matter how many people I killed, it never worked. I never felt happy. I feel miserable.
You mean?
He was born with a brain dysfunction. Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Oh, that's right. My old body. How are you finding it, Date?
This body is yours, huh?
That's what I've been telling you!
But I don't have the same oxytocin deficiency you did.
That is because I regularly supplement it.
That's what she means by dosage. The whole time I was like, stop drugging me! You've been giving me... supplements. To give me what my brain is supposed to make on its own, but because it can't, what is in Date is what was left of Saito when he left. That's why he had little to no memory at all. Date is what was left of Saito when he left his body. Because there was a little bit of stuff left, it's like he became a new person. Or at least that's what I'm thinking anyway.
They must have increased your dosage too much.
No, but... the person who had this disorder was number 89. The original Cyclops killer.
That is what I believed as well. But we must have misunderstood. Pewter did not specify who exactly was imprisoned. Only that one of the original culprits responsible was currently in prison.
That's strange. That would mean number 89 is the previous chairman, Rohan.
Aha! At least I
must
was
be
right
it.
about that.
Rohan is a parasite inside number 89's brain. Pewter must have known that.
No way.
I was confused. I didn't understand any of it.
Let us determine the specifics using Saito as our starting point. Whose brain was he in before Boss?
So Sejima.
And before So?
Iris. And before that, Renju. And before that, Shoko.
And before Shoko?
Mwah. Whose body were you in before Shoko?
I was a parasite inside Rohan's brain 6 years ago until last year.
So... so that's why the killing stopped. 6 years ago. 'Cause he moved to Rohan? While Rohan was in 89?
I'd lost most of my memories. I was a shell of a man. They housed me in a special hospital. But I still had those fragments of my mind left. Just as I explained earlier. From a single piece, you can recreate the whole. I took my time, slowly regaining my memories. 1 year ago, I remembered everything. I left the hospital and immediately sought out Shoko Nadami. I got her body, and she was in Rohan's. When she saw herself in the mirror, she lost her mind.
And she committed suicide.
She was confused, panicking, running up the emergency staircase, and then...
So that's why
Rohan committed suicide.
because Shoko...
After that, I spent a year perfecting my plan.
Well, I'm usually up this time normally, Leanne. I'm a natural night owl.
Using Shoko's body. I spied on you all this time. That's why I know everything about you.
Who were you before Rohan?
In there. In that body you are operating right now. In that skull. My personality lived there.
Wait, hold on. If what you're saying is true, what about my personality?
It was in Rohan.
In one of the sinks. When he saw the eye in the window, he said it was beautiful. I'm the original Rohan?
I'm not Rohan!
Correct. It is just as he explained earlier. Number 89 was in Rohan's body.
So he's number 89.
In other words,
That's... Am I real?
That's why he had memories of young Iris doing the patty cake game.
Sorry, but time's up. I want my body back. It's quite simple. Sync with me and stay inside my mind for more than 6 minutes.
And if I refuse?
I know that you won't.
Why? Won't I?
I know it.
Huh?
Date, look! This is streaming live!
Oh, Hitomi.
Damn you!
If you give me back my body, I will give you the location. Oh, and of course, it isn't the chemical plant in the Kabasaki district.
Aiba, where's the source?
it is being routed through numerous IPs. I cannot identify the source.
Computer, contact headquarters, now!
Got it!
Now, what will you do? Will you agree to my request?
Then I would be in Boss's body. But then once you're back in your own body, and I'm in Boss's body, since the sedatives don't work in the old or in the new sync machine, I could turn you in once you're in your new body. Or at least, I don't know, the sedatives aren't as strong as in the prototype. God damn. Oh my god. Kill Hitomi or don't kill Hitomi? Oh my god. So this is the branch. Maybe I can fight him. I don't know.
Date!
See? I knew you wouldn't refuse. I know you well, don't I, Date?
Because 89 and Hitomi were lovers. Aiba's gonna pop out. Pop out, Aiba!
I did it. I did it. I'm back. I got it all back.
Hey, where's Hitomi?
All right. I'll tell you as promised. Boss's house. However, it might be too late by now.
What?
Aiba, you can pop out. You've done it before. So it doesn't matter. It would have happened anyway.
Why?
Return my body and I'll tell you the location. That's what I said. I didn't lie. I kept my promise.
Oh, of course.
You bastard!
Oh yeah, remember
You're
your
the
legs all
one
messed
who
up?
injured that body. It's your own fault, really.
Damn it.
Be seeing you.
Why would you leave her alive? It doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, there we go. Shock that bitch!
Date, are you alright?
Yeah, Pewter, why are you not coming in to kill him? I know, because Pewter's a freaking puss, that's why. Aiba's voice barely resonated. My eyesight was hazy, a heap of broken images. Sweat was building in my palms. It felt like my throat was closing up, and I was struggling for breath. In my ears, the rushing blood of my heartbeat was the only sound.
Everyone's dead.
Shoko, Renju, Iris, Oda, Hitomi, Boss. The flesh remains, the mind is lost.
I couldn't do anything. Saito had me right where he wanted me. Nothing. Nothing.
Parallel worlds exist.
The words suddenly echoed in my head. I couldn't remember who or where or why, but I thought that if there really was such a world, then me in that world, I is another.
Could I have had a better future?
I prayed that I could. I felt my conscience sink into the black abyss. And then I just pass out? Well, that's a lame ending. Annihilation route end. And then that one unlocked. Let's do it! No, wait, hold on. Okay. Right. Okay, Hitomi. Case file. Deep in the forest, Renju and Hitomi discovered the corpse of Mnaka. Date questioned Hitomi about what happened 18 years ago. Hitomi confessed everything. Iris was not Hitomi's real daughter. Her father is So, and Manka was the mother. I said Manka. Monica. That's not how you spell Monica, okay? Monica was killed by Sosujima's son, Saito. Hitomi and Renju preserved Monica's corpse in cold storage warehouse. 18 years have passed. Knowing that Iris does not have much time left, Hitomi decided to blackmail So, calling him to the cold storage warehouse and threatening to reveal everything to the press. She received a call from the culprit and was told to come to a certain location with Date. Date and Hitomi arrived at the abandoned factory in the Kawasaki district and found Renju's corpse. Suddenly, they were knocked out. So, this was the one where Renju didn't die right at the beginning. Right. Alright, let's do it. Looks like Ichigo. Oh my god, no. Have you looked into Kingmaker at all? And if that would be up your alley if you got a key. I've never heard of it. Stop! Oh my god, no I don't. I always stumble my words. I have to stop and think. Yeah, you got knocked out.
You're awake.
I am. Ooh,
Damn it!
I'm strapped.
I don't think you can release yourself.
Well, do something about it.
Yeah, come out of my eye.
What is it you expect me to do?
Pathfinder D&D game that has lots of choices on what you can do will eventually. I'm not really interested in Dungeons and Dragons. I will be fully honest with you. Okay.
Come out of my eye socket and get this off of me!
Right.
I cannot.
Why?
Why not?
My body has short-circuited.
Why?
It must have been the electric currents from earlier.
Ugh.
Gah.
But fortunately, my communication functions are still operational. I attempted to reach HQ and Abyss personnel for support.
And?
No response.
Of course
They
not.
ignored you?
There must be pressure from the higher-ups.
Uh-huh.
Likely a result of Congressman Tsujima's interference.
Just lets you kill him.
He thinks I'm investigating Monica's case.
That is not the only reason. So Tsujima holds a personal grudge against you. He wants you dead. That is likely why Pewter is attempting to delete my data.
Are you okay?
For now. But if they breach my final layer of ice, they will destroy me. I would cease to exist.
Huh. Oh, right. Because he's hacking into her. I forgot. It's raining in here. Oh, hello. I know who you are. You're not actually 89.
Saito Tsujima.
I'm 89.
Oh, so you figured it out.
Saito went back into him? Or went to
Renju's
him?
body on the ground.
Oh, right! Because Saito was in Renju. And then switched over to 89 because Renju escaped the prison with 89. Or not the prison, but the precinct with 89. And Renju was not Renju. Renju was Saito. So when they got here... Okay. Okay. So who... The person that was in 89, which is the Kumakura dude, is now in Renju, who is dead!
Without his left eye.
Yup.
You were inside Renju, weren't you? Until just now? You used the machine to exchange minds, then got rid of his body.
Yeah.
Close, but you're a little off. I didn't get rid of the body. He died of natural causes.
What?
But what interests me
What?
more is you. How do you know you can
Natural
use the sync
causes?
machine to exchange minds? The way you're talking makes me think you know why I took out his left eye.
How do I know that? Why do I know that? Why do I know about Saito, the prototype machine changing personalities?
The current. Did it unlock your memories?
Yay! Maybe a little bit.
Then tell me, this body was originally...
Mine!
Mine.
That means your body...
This is your body, isn't it, Saito?
The words came out easily. I don't know why. But in a moment of harsh realization, I knew. 89's body is mine, and my body is Saito's.
Well, if you know that much, then this should be easy. Give me back my body.
I mean, that's easy enough. At least I'd have my body back. If you weren't watching the game, this would sound very romantic or very lewd. Give me back my body does not sound romantic or lewd in any way, shape, or form. Where's Iris and Hitomi?
Don't worry, I haven't killed them. Yet.
Of course.
Yet?
The brain you are currently occupying has an interesting quirk.
Yes.
It
Or
releases
a lack
flood
of
dopamine
quirk.
and endorphins when it kills. I thought I'd take that brain back before killing those two. In front of you, of course. Which is why I haven't killed them yet. Such beautiful eyes. I was going to begin the sync, but
Ew.
I think I've changed my mind. I want to see you mad. But what will really set you off?
You want to see me mad in your body? Why, thank you, Starfighter. I'm an old-timey detective.
If you don't shut your mouth right now...
All right, talking it is. What should I say? Do you have
Shut
any
your mouth. Okay,
questions
I'm
for
gonna
me?
talk.